We've all seen that woman. She might not be wearing the most expensive clothing, and she might not even be the most conventionally stunning. Yet, somehow, she commands the respect and attention of every man in the room. Now, most people call it class. But let me tell you, true class is a very specific set of 7 psychological triggers that signal pure elegance in any woman. And what's interesting is men are evolutionarily wired to pick up on these 7 attractive things within seconds of meeting you. So let's start with the one that instantly separates a high-value woman from everyone else. Number 1, the proxemic pull. The moment you are with someone, the way you occupy the space around you subconsciously reveals your true class. In psychology, this is called proxemics. Think about it. When a woman is overly eager for a man's attention, she tends to physically lean all the way into his space, invading his kinesthetic bubble. A high-value woman, however, has an internal center of gravity. She sits comfortably, perhaps leaning slightly back, and claims her own physical space. In fact, she uses open gestures that naturally invite him to lean in. As a result, it creates a subtle physical boundary that instantly triggers a man's instinct to pursue. Here, you aren't playing hard to get. You're simply showing him that you are a high-value woman who is secure in your own space. But what if there is a recognized behavioral metric that indicates true class? Enter number 2, the waiter rule. A study in the Journal of Applied Psychology shows that how you treat service workers is a direct window into your inner character. Yes, to him you might be charming, but to his subconscious, the way you treat the person clearing your table is the only part of the night that feels real. You see, a woman of class treats the CEO and the server with the exact same level of respect. So when a man sees you pleasantly say thank you to a barista, it signals high emotional empathy. It proves to him that you are simply a woman of integrity. Number 3 is secure silence. Imagine you're talking deeply and the conversation hits a sudden pause. What would you do? Do you scramble to fill the air with nervous chatter? Well, the anxiety to perform is a subconscious signal of insecurity. In contrast, a classy woman is entirely comfortable in the silence. She can sit back, take a sip of her drink, and simply exist in the moment without panic. This is known as secure silence. Men subconsciously read this as a sign of extreme confidence and stability, telling his primitive brain that she is a high-value woman who doesn't need constant verbal validation. Now pay attention, because the next one is a literal biological pattern that you can tweak right now to signal elegance and class. Number 4, high-status vocal pacing. Studies on vocal tonality reveal a direct link to perceived class. They show that people who speak slightly slower and use a lower, more resonant vocal pitch are instantly perceived as more competent and high status. See, a woman who speaks incredibly fast is often signaling a subconscious fear that her words aren't worth the listener's time. But a woman of class? She speaks with measured intention. She knows her words have value. So whether she's leading a boardroom or sharing a quiet moment on a date, every word is smooth and unhurried. This deliberate pacing subconsciously forces the men around her to slow down and enter her rhythm. In fact, it creates an aura of elegance that no designer outfit can ever replicate. Number 5, the feminine pushback. Have you ever watched a woman deliver a firm no, and somehow the men around her are instantly captivated? Yes, a classy woman is never afraid to say no or set boundaries. But wait, there's a tactical twist. She does it with surgical precision, without being aggressive or overly apologetic. Let's say a man suggests a date idea you aren't comfortable with. An insecure response is either to get submissive or to react defensively. However, a woman of class simply redirects the energy. She might say, "That sounds interesting, but I'd actually prefer we do this instead." You see the difference? Yep. When you deliver firm opinions with a soft feminine tone, it sends a high-level signal to his subconscious. It tells him that you have high standards for yourself, and men inherently respect a woman they cannot easily steamroll. Number 6, competence-triggered compliments. Evolutionary psychology reveals that men have a hidden psychological lever known as a competence trigger. It's the primal need to feel capable and respected by a woman they admire. Now, a classy woman understands this need. However, she refuses to fill it with surface-level flattery, like telling a man he's hot. Instead, she targets his character directly. You might say, "I really admire how passionate you are about your work," or "You handled that stressful situation incredibly well." Yep, this authentic competence-triggered validation is a rare high-status signal. It proves you are a woman who values substance over superficiality. Finally, we reach the dark psychological loophole. Number 7, the warm dismissal and the Zeigarnik Effect. Ever heard of the Zeigarnik Effect? Well, it's a psychological tendency for people to obsess over interrupted or incomplete tasks much more than finished ones. This is why a woman of class never overstays her welcome. She doesn't let a conversation drag on until it runs out of steam. Instead, she utilizes the warm dismissal. She'll sweetly say, "I've had a wonderful time talking to you, but I need to go." In doing so, she leaves the interaction technically incomplete, ending it while the chemistry is at its absolute peak. Now, because she walked away while the spark was still bright, the Zeigarnik Effect takes over. It creates a subconscious loop in his mind, ensuring your presence lingers in his mind as a rare high-value memory he isn't quite ready to let go of. Lastly, remember one thing: class isn't about the price tag on your shoes. It's about the internal value you place on yourself. So which of these subtle things do you think is the most powerful? Let us know in the comments below.